If that punch doesn't look like that guy's been throwing that punch for 35 years, then the whole movie's for nothing. I found it less interesting having maybe had a career, a 20-year career as a smiley network pretty boy. Everyone went, well, how are you gonna play an MMA fighter? You've never trained before.
The most scary person ever on Australian screens was Russell in Romper Stomper. And then you meet him and you're like, oh my gosh, you're the nicest, kindest man ever.
Ego isolates, spirit collaborates. And it's the industry of collaboration.
Someone asked me, there's all kinds of things going on, with shoulders and stuff like that for me now because I'm 52. But walking with a sandbag, just walking with a sandbag, I found to be so incredibly beneficial.
Yeah.
I get it to about 35, 40 kilos over one shoulder for about a minute or so, drop it, clean it up on the other one. Just walk around the hills around here, whatever. Someone asked me the other day, Jesus, man, what are you training for? I'm like, the second half of my life.
Exactly.
Like, nothing specific. I just want to be harder to kill.
Totally. It's like the second half of the Indy 500 or the Bathurst 1000. It was like, we're coming into halfway, hopefully halfway, like pretty banged up. Like the first half of that race, we've put a lot into it. Yeah. We've gone out pretty hard and realized there's a whole nother second half of this race that we got to be in shape for. And
you don't want to be the kind of dad that goes, no, buddy, you go.
No, yeah, I'll watch you.
You've got to be in it.
No, I have no interest in being that father, and I have no interest in being that person.
No,
and I think maybe one of the greatest shifts, the generational shifts, may have happened in our lifetime. Maybe in this this country, and hopefully around, but definitely in this country, is like the fitness, wellness, lifestyle culture from maybe our age and younger is going to be quite opposite to the generation that came of our fathers and that came before us.
And I would say that the Venn diagram of that and a renewed, how shall I put this, awareness of and a societal permission for the involvement in parenting that fathers were, like my father's era were not. The fathers were kind of pushed out of and not allowed to be a part of. Combined those two, like we are, I don't think it's too much to say, but, and it's going to sound weird, but I think we're the first generation of fathers who are actively trying to figure out the work-life balance.
Yeah, maybe.
All right.
But also have the freedom or ability to take on the ownership of it, because we didn't come from that workforce of the era of you've got to be at work at 9 o'clock, you're there till 5 o'clock, you got the tie and the pen in the top pocket, and Mr. Whatever says we can't leave until 5, whatever that is, maybe a generation or two ahead, but we had the freedom to create our lifestyle and reality.
But after that, it was, I'm going home, or on the way there, I'm going to stop off at the pub, and then by the time I get home, I'm expecting a hot meal. You kids will be quiet. I don't want to hear your shit, and I'm going to bed. That was it.
Yeah.
That was parent, that was dad, and that was fine.
Yeah.
No
thanks.
I'm grateful to not have that.
Yeah. And I didn't have that. Big Keithy was the first one to drive the Tarago up to the Central Coast every Saturday or Sunday, so me and my mates could race the Budgie Woy triathlon, and stuff like that.
The
Tarago, the bright maroon Tarago.
It was a sad day
up and down the East Coast
when Toyota discontinued the
Space Wagon bubble machine.
It's since been supplanted by the Kia Carnival, the suburban side loader, the amazing. It's a great vehicle. I was, our family had a van. This was before SUV, so it was like, if you got more than that many kids, like you need a van.
Yeah,
that's what's going to happen. But it's interesting that you bring that up, because I know there's one of the subplots, I guess, or one of the themes of this film was, well, what do you do as a man in your 40s? And I really liked that you brought that to the table, and you can see it so quite clearly in this movie. And it's something I'm facing now. I haven't worked in telly in 3 years.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say I could define myself completely by my job, but I've had a job where I've been paid to be me since I was 20.
Yeah.
And to suddenly not have that is like, okay, what happens now? And so it was actually kind of nice. Why did you kind of go in that direction?
I think a couple of reasons, but I was 44 when we started rolling the cameras on this. on Beast. And what really unlocked the character for me, it was easy to go, okay, on the page, it's an older fighter. What attracted me to the script initially and immediately was the family dynamic. That was really important to me, far beyond the physicality and the fighting. Like, it could have been a family dynamic in Tiddlywinks, 10-pin bowling, whatever. It was a man fighting for his marriage, for his family, for his son, for his brother, to reconcile the father figure in his life, was played by Russell. So the backdrop just happened to be MMA, which added in a whole nother level of challenge and excitement and whatnot. But the actual nucleus of the story and the nuance of the story was really strongly rooted in really family dynamics. So that really appealed to me straight off. And I found it less interesting, having maybe had a 20-year career as a smiley network pretty boy, to lean into that. Well, actually, no, I'm 44 and I'm about to turn 45 and our hips are fucked. And
I would point out that all of your face moves when you smile.
Well, exactly. And I love it, and I'm proud of that, and I'll never forget, God bless, but Robert Redford pushed for years into his career before he ever succumbed to that Hollywood pressure, and I'm proud of the life I've had. I'm incredibly grateful for the life and the career I've had, and now moving more specifically into film and into cinema. All that stuff is in the bank of character and life experience, which translates on to cinema. So I wanted to embrace that. I knew that this role in this film, if I did what I thought I could do, and which oftentimes only I could see, and oftentimes there was agents and managers and all these other people going, I don't know what you're doing here, and I don't think you should do it. I think you should go back and take something else, and you should take a nice TV job or whatever, and a nice rom-com, and go and play so-and-so's nice husband in Manhattan. And I was like, no, I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna go to that place, and they're like, okay. And then the thing that really unlocked it for me was understanding so many friends of ours have come from military and combat and veteran backgrounds. So many friends of ours through life after sport and transitioning out of high-level performance, and particularly sport, but that performance could be applied to any kind of career and vocation. Having the great challenge of transitioning out of that into life when your identity is left with that, and simultaneously linking that to the fact that there is a global epidemic of male suicide, of men our age and younger. And I found this character of going, well, this guy would have been the ideal candidate for that way out. Struggling to work, loss of identity, family pressure, marriage expectations, eldest brother carrying the expectations of family on his shoulders, fractured parental relationships, and stuck in the Australian mortgage, housing.
Solving problems of difficult feelings with a lot of booze.
Yeah, exactly. In Shell Harbour, Kiama, which could also be Newcastle, Gladstone, Townsville, you name it, So
Nuriupta, in case you're feeling left out, South Australia.
There you go. So once I dived into that and unlocked that little gem of going, okay, what if this is actually a love letter to friends we've lost, anyone who is struggling in that moment right now, and this character gets to be just a beacon of light and of hope of what happens when you back yourself to fight for your purpose, to fight for your identity, to fight your way out physically and otherwise, because you've seen it. It's as much of a fight physically as it is.
Don't worry, people are going to see you get punched in the face in slow-mo.
You can many times
quite
over.
well. And some actual hits that made the cut. Proper ones.
No, we were.
There's no faking.
No, there was more bruises. There's more real bruises. There were fake ones by the end of it.
Don't worry, you're going to see what they're not pretending. Thanks very much. To your mates. Maybe Jackie Chan was the first one to do it, but then driving that. People like Tom Cruise and Keanu is like, oh no, we're going to have to get in there. We got to go.
But also, what a great privilege. And I'm incredibly. I got great respect and reverence, not only for the cinematic art form, which I've come to at this stage in my career, but knowing now just how hard it is to get a film made, to get it up, to get it financed, to get it all, to literally thread the eye of the needle and be on set shooting for 8 weeks, and then go out into another 2 years of post-production and distribution and all that sort of stuff. The incredible gratitude and respect I have, and then to then be there, championed and backed by Russell Crowe, alongside this incredible cast, and it's a fight movie, and you're the guy. Like, if there was ever a time to put everything into it, that's the time. And we're going to get too preachy too early, but I think if you're asking people to go and jump in their car, part with their hard-earned, sit in a dark theater, dark room for 2 hours and watch your shit, then it's got to cost you a bit of your soul and make that worthwhile.
There's show and show business.
Yeah.
You got to put the effort in, and whether people are understanding that they see it or not, they will know. People know if you phoned it in. They know if you phoned it in.
I walked out of a show last week.
A movie?
No, a theatre show.
A theatre show?
Yeah. And it was that thing. It was like, I got to the interval and went, thank you, but I paid $120 to come and I want to see. I want to see it. I want to feel it. And
you've got to respect the time. And I did a workshop for part of the ways of keeping the lights on these days is teaching people in the corporate world how to actually communicate with each other. Because if you're 25, you haven't really had the socialization that uni used to give you.
No.
Campuses are empty. You've done your whole degree pretty much on Zoom, so you haven't had the flight miles or like just looking someone in the eye and learning how it took. Yeah. And I was talking to these guys the other day, just saying, look how much money Amazon, Meta, Alphabet make. Attention is the most valuable thing on the planet, next to oil. Really?
Yeah. Wow.
It's valuable, and you need. If people are giving it to you, you've got to respect it. You cannot just you're looking at me. Oh, this is what you're going to get. No, they'll fucking go anywhere.
No, exactly. And they will be more ruthless than ever. Yeah. So gone are the days where people would go to the cinema to get their news and sit in a dark room as a communal shared space here in Australia and pay their 2 shillings or whatever it was to sit in a cinema and on a Saturday night and watch whatever at the picture house. Now they're spoiled for choice. They're spoiled for convenience. They've got everything they want at the tip of their fingers, the touch of a button. And side note, I don't think we as Australians are a natural cinema-going population. But that's a whole other conversation. But I think we'd much rather be at the sport, at the beach, or at the pub. There's 3 others. Maybe there's a couple of others as well. Musical theatre, live theatre. I think probably a lot of us would go and do that over cinema. So to get that cinema and filmic experience and to sell those tickets, I think we're far more challenged in this country than anywhere. Europe,
culturally,
UK, US, especially those northern states of the US, where you get a proper winter and you're looking for something to do. Yeah. I worked in Chicago. I did 3 movies back to back in a day. It was like, it's minus 22 outside. I'm not doing anything else.
Yeah, it's warm and my feet aren't wet and frozen.
No, exactly.
So I'll be fine. Right here. But it is, you've got to respect that. And I'll get to the journey of that, getting the movie made. Yeah. Because it is quite the commitment. But just to close the loop on talking about men, and in the movie, there's a training montage. And that's how he kind of transfers out of this, I'm in this moment to getting out of that moment. And I know, some that you've spoken about publicly, some of it, haven't, but I know we've had very similar, ups and downs in our, last 20 years or so we've known each other. Can you talk about the role of physicality, getting out of bed, even though you don't feel like it, getting the shoes on, picking up something heavy, putting it back down again, and getting your head straight again?
The trusting the process of that in whatever application it is serving in my life at any one time is something that we've done over and over again. And so trusting the process has been training for a marathon, training for an Ironman. In this instance, everyone went, well, how are you going to play an MMA fighter? You've never trained before. And funnily enough, of all the things, that was the least of my worries. And the more time I got, the more proficient I was going to get. But it was literally, you just trust the process. You do the hours. You find the right coaches. You find the right teachers. You find the highest level you can. And thankfully, I had 3 years instead of 1 year. And there was a chance where we were nearly going to shoot it after 1 year, and it would have been horrifically bad, and we wouldn't be sitting here. But the process has also been the first time I went into a really immersive method type set where I got one of my first leads in a film going back. And I think we spoke about it way back in the Venice days. I'd just done Infinity, and it was like, I'm stuck on a space station. I'm gonna live above the set for 2 months, and then the only time I'm gonna leave the set is actually to fly to Melbourne to do Dancing with the Stars on the weekend. And then I'm coming back to Monday morning on the first flight to be back on set fighting for my life on this space station. And the things you do in your early 30s to try and, push your career or push yourself or challenge yourself. But we wrapped that shoot after living in character, calling each other character names, living on the set for 2 months. We wrapped that on the 22nd of December and came out, and everybody else was partying. It was Christmas. They were light. They were breezy. And you had Luke Hemsworth, Bren Foster, Shayna Bess, our director, and this fantastic Luke Ford, Louisa Mignone, Grace Huang, this fantastic cast and crew coming out completely traumatized by this process. And the lesson then was, oh shit, if we're going to go down the rabbit hole, we're going to go down the rabbit hole. We need to work out how to get back out of it. And that was, I'll go back to what I know, which is salt water, sunshine, movement, sleep, water, lifting heavy things. And that served me well coming out of Infinity. It served me coming back to Los Angeles after the first season of Strike Back, living in Eastern Europe for 7 months. And the brain can't differentiate between reality and highly imagined realities that you're pretending. So I kind of got back from Strike Back and went, why is my fight or flight going crazy in Los Angeles? And why am I scouting every exit and checking who might have a gun and who's a threat and a car's backfiring and, those things you see in movies? Well, it's because for 7 months, every day, that's what I'd been doing and what Warren and Elena and I had been doing. And we did 3 years of that. And I remember coming back and going, right, I need to run along Santa Monica Beach every day. I need to get in that water. It's not quite Bronte, but it'll do.
Or Cronulla.
And
it's the one that's there.
It's the closest.
Don't worry about the tar on your feet.
No,
it's
exactly.
Fine. Just get out and have a good shower.
Make the best of what you have available. And so that process has been refined over the years.
Yeah.
But using it as a lifeline, when I say it's exercise, sleep, movement, understanding the discipline of that. And this is a conversation, whether it's helpful or not, but I stopped drinking in 2022 and I stopped drinking completely for a year. And then I very occasional kind of drink, and I have that ability to do that without blowing up my life. But I drink with awareness now of going, it's going to affect my emotions. It's going to affect my sleep. It's going to affect my relationships. It's going to affect how I work tomorrow. It's going to affect my creativity. If you still want to do it, cool. All right, cool. So that's been a game changer for me.
Right.
And there's still probably a conversation with myself where I actually don't know if
I tried what you've done.
Yeah.
Nah.
No. And look, there's certain people who I know, and we all know very well that they just can't do that.
No, I have an allergy to alcohol. The joke is I have an allergy to alcohol. When I drink, I break out and fuckwit. And the side effects include denial, daddy issues, and divorce.
Yeah.
But what actually happens is I have an allergic reaction where just one molecule hits my body, like peanut butter would hit a kid who's peanut allergic. And
alcohol-phalanxis.
Yeah. And I can no longer decide how much is a good idea to have of this stuff. Yeah. And my sense of right and wrong changes. And that allergic reaction, the decisions I make are all guided by that until the allergic reaction subsides. Sometimes, depending on how much, a day, 2 days, until I look around and go, who the fuck said and did that?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, it was me. Oh. Yeah. And and I know that I can't. Yeah. I know that those switches are still in me. I can't do it. It's not just booze, man. I remember being at it was Las Vegas not long after I stopped drinking for a friend's party, as one does. And I walked up to a blackjack table going, I'll be all right. And I stood up to the blackjack table. I put my, I was making money at the time, so I put $100 down. And the tingle in my tummy was there. I was like, oh, fuck, it's the same thing. Oh, wow. hit.
Yeah.
Fast walk. I just got out of there because it was the same thing. Yeah. It was I just need to just a little bit more will get me away from the uncomfortable feeling I have inside me. But what you're talking about, the salt water,
if you have access to it, or just, movement, fresh air,
it can be cold water, it can be, whatever, but just go, there's a process in there, work out what works for you.
Movement, fresh air, sleep.
Yeah.
Knowing that is there for you, and also knowing that, the way I feel right now is not going to last, but I know that if I just show up every day and do this thing, it might be only a little at first.
Yeah.
In a few days from now, it will feel very, very different. It'll feel very different after the first, 20 minutes of it.
Yeah.
But this isn't a permanent feeling. I don't know what to do about this to fundamentally shift that. And just trusting that that's there and knowing that it's there is
exactly.
really beautiful thing that I wish I knew when I was much, much younger.
And the power of the breath. Dr. J.
Tell me about
Dr. J, man, one of the greatest lessons and the greatest gifts you gave me, man. You gave
you and I went to go.
You gave
texted me
one of the greatest experiences.
I wrote about him in my book.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Did you do the thing with the breathing and the? Yes.
You're like, wait till he does the breath work. It's like, no, we did some stuff. No, you'll know when he does the breath. We did some stuff.
When someone first told me about the Wim Hof thing, I'm like, I know this.
Yeah, right. So my manifestation, particularly 3 years in Malaysia, Budapest, Croatia, Army, Strike Back, the tactical vests that we wear for Strike Back also were the perfect size to hide a horrible pack of Eastern European cigarettes down there. So when we're fucking shooting each other and blowing stuff up, then we go cut. After I'd run 10K that morning, I'd be there with all the crew and all the soldiers and stuff, just having a bunger or 10. And then during, the pandemic and whatnot, was I better stop smoking. But our vapes will be better. So there was this nicotine thing. So the alcohol and then the nicotine, the eradication of that, but also the understanding of, dude, your breath is a superpower in meditation, in nervous system regulation, in acting and emotion. Like if you got to protect that. You got to protect that at all costs. And any of that, even now I walked in here like, do you want a coffee? And ordinarily an Osher double espresso would but I'm like day 3 into like going, dude, you're drinking too much coffee.
All right.
And you've been redlining and mainlining this for like months now. It's been the biggest start of the year I probably ever had.
Yeah.
And I was like, right, you need to demake.
It's not for forever, but if you need it for now.
Yeah, we'll just take it from 6th gear back into like 2nd, maybe even 1st, and maybe there's a world in a couple of weeks where I have a decaf for a little while. We'll see.
You mean brown disappointment water?
Brown failure.
Sorry. Wow. So whenever I talk about breathing and stuff like that, sometimes I show them footage of me on like Q&A or something like that. I'm like, there, I'm doing it right there. See, watch my chest. Oh, I'm like, I show them like, that's me doing it. There's breaths that I've done on camera for years. Did any make the cut? Do you watch yourself and go, oh, there it is?
A lot of now of that high end or high level cinema acting that I watch.
Yeah.
I get to watch Russell do, or I get to watch Jared Harris do, or I get to watch some young up and coming actors do naturally. I had to learn it. I've had to learn, everything and start from where I started from, which was a very different place.
I had to learn as well, man. Like, don't get me wrong. I've had more, like,
Wolfie,
but those kids are better than me. I was like, they've also had more time to practice because they're older.
There's also a couple that come in and go, you're really natural at this.
Yeah.
And that's as with everything we do. But the power of breath in cinema is a huge part of it, and so you got to be in control of it. I mean, there's some screams, but there's some breaths, but there's a breath opposite Kelly Gale. And it's when we're sitting outside and I've been drinking and she's looking at me.
The woman that
plays my wife in Beast, and there's that beautiful sunset and the drums start up and there's this one breath that I look at and you just kind of see the animal in him awaken, and it's like, and you see the eyes kind of go and it's like, like that was good,
Yeah, but people may not realize that they have access to that. It's the one way that we can tickle our autonomic nervous system, because I don't decide when I fart, or unless you pull my finger, I don't decide when I fart or sneeze or digest. But that by breathing in a particular way, we can turn on that relaxation response or change fear into excitement, like that. And like, there's some pressure in this film. I mean, yes, you're acting opposite the gladiator, all right? So I'm not even that. You're acting opposite fucking Hando for Romper Stomper, all right? Before there was Maximus, there was probably the most scary, terrifying villain. Fuck Wolf Creek, I don't care. The most scary person ever on Australian screens, worse than Bad Boy Bubby, was Russell in Romper Stomper. And then you meet him and you're like, oh my gosh, you're the nicest, kindest man ever. You're the most generous dude.
Well, I met him on live television. I met him on Dancing with the Stars.
Yes, of course you did.
With one segment to go, and when his wife at the time was Danielle was on the show. But I had Michael White in my earpiece go, Dan, at the end of the stage is Russell and his two sons, Charlie and Tenny. They're in tuxedos, and don't look now, but you're going to introduce them, and you're going to introduce Russell before we end the show.
Did Russell know this was happening?
No.
Oh, fuck.
I mean, well, I think he knew that he was going to get interviewed, but and
he's a professional. He's like, I'm standing in a key light. Okay, I know.
No. He is such a professional. He walked onto that set. He walked straight up to Danielle with his sons. There are 9 cameras on that set, cranes, handheld, 3 rollies on the floor, everything. He had his back to every single one of them.
Knows what's up.
Knows exactly what's up. I was like, that's a master.
Yeah.
That guy knows what he's doing.
Knows exactly where he is.
He speaks the language of cinema unlike anything else. He can talk music, he can talk Rabbitohs, he can talk anything. But when that guy talks cinema and when he's on set directing or acting, it's you're in the presence of greatness. It's at that level.
You met him on live TV, and I've spent some time with him over the years.
Yeah.
He's not acting, but when he's on a camera and he's just being him, there's still a
showmanship.
There's a thing here. It's like, you're not getting in, man. Because I've got to protect this part. If anyone's going to believe, he's not Daniel Day-Lewis, but if he's going to get believed when he's John Nash in Beautiful Mind or something, he's got to protect this a little bit. Yep. Because Tom Hanks is Tom Hanks, no matter fucking what he does. He's Tom Hanks.
Cruise has got a bit of that, hasn't he? Like, does anyone really know what Tom Cruise is like? I don't know.
He's the same dude since Risky Business. He's the same guy. So, and you're on live TV, so you got about 38 seconds to get something out of it.
Yeah.
Tops.
Yeah. I don't know if it succeeded or failed, and I had Sonia there, I think, from memory. It was so thank you. I was lucky. I had a good co-host at the time, but he's a unique beast.
And then you nearly ran over him. He was riding his bicycle down Melrose Avenue, and you nearly ran over him. Yeah. Didn't. Useful.
But I was like, who are these guys riding bikes on Melrose? Melrose, down the Paramount, like down the Larchmont end? The old Cafe Gratitude down there?
Yeah.
I was like, there's parking, that's the terrible place to be riding bikes. Like, who rides bikes there? And there's a couple of cyclists in LA.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a terrible place.
It's not a good cycling street, Melrose. No.
And then I look as I'm going past, it was Russell and one of his security guards. Right. So I tweeted, nearly ran over at Russell Crowe on the way to an audition at Paramount. Must have been a good omen. And got a response back, later that day. Hey man, I'm at the Beverly Hills Hotel. And you come in for a Oscars night party, and that was one of the beginnings of our friendship.
And this is what the generosity of that man. I have been very, very fortunate to be allowed into that space.
And the unspoken generosity. There's things that we know that he's done for people all around the world, and then there's things that we don't have the faintest clue about, but that's probably exactly how he likes it. But if the scope and scale of the things that he's done that we know about is, compared to the things we don't know, I mean, this guy's, the generosity of heart, of spirit is pretty special.
Like, bear in mind, if I had the profile that he has, and you filmed me or documented me when I was having not the best day ever, you would probably think that's who I was. Like, I lose my shit all the time. Of course, I'm a fucking parent. People, nobody's
I did one in traffic the other day. I had some very choice words, and even I was like, that was pretty
I got
good.
all my road rage out. When I got to Los Angeles, I got all my road rage out very quickly. When someone just mentioned, by the way, 1 in every 5 cars has a gun in the glove box.
And that's probably only the ones we know about. Yeah, I reckon.
Oh, okay. I'll just off to you, mate.
Totally.
No, take it away. And that was
Jess comes over. Jess is like, you drive so much calmer in Los Angeles. Why is that? It's like, because everyone's got a gun, darling.
I do it here too. I'm like, fine, do your thing, buddy. After you. And it's the cyclist in me as well. It's like, I'd rather be alive than right.
Yes. No, totally.
So over the time, you've come to know Russell, and there was a moment, I think, where, as an actor, as you mentioned before, your agent's going, you should do this and not do this and not do this and do this and do that. There's more upside in this. You could be series regular. No, you're going to fly over here. There was like a part with the character didn't even have a name, but it was a chance to be on set.
Yeah.
And that was the opportunity that kind of led to a lot of things, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we'd done Poker Face here in Sydney, and Russell directed that, and I was 6 or 7 down the call sheet down there. I'd come in to replace an actor that
it wasn't a big film. It was probably 10 on the call sheet. Like it was. I was fair. I was a fair way down. And look, great cast. It was Russell and Liam, Aidan Young, Steve Bastoni, and I think our relationship. When you talk about the Russell of it all, but it's been built on challenge. Yeah.
And so that was like, okay, I'll give you a shot. Oh, and I remember, my first day was opposite him. He was behind a bar with 2 cameras here on me, and I had to walk on and do my first scene with Maximus. Yeah, and it was, I remember after the first take, he was like, "How did that feel?" And I was like, "It felt a bit like it was up here." Yeah, I might just I'll push it. I'm just going to get it down. Yeah, and that's it.
So it's just one syllable. You do it very well. You do a very good Russell. It's just one syllable.
And so
it was.
Yeah.
But I do love that. I do love it because I say this sometimes when I'm doing that corporate stuff, like all leadership is parenting. All leadership is parenting. And just simply asking you a question, he's not telling you how it was.
Not at all.
You know exactly
Fantastic director.
how it was.
Fantastic director.
You know exactly how
totally.
It was. How
totally.
was that?
Trust you. Yeah. How was that? How was it? How did that feel?
And then you say, he goes, yeah.
It was good. That's what I noticed too. That was the feedback I got also. And let's fix it together. We'll combine our data and we'll fix that. But then Land of Bad was the next one. Yeah. And again, it was one of those ones where Dave Frigerio, the writer of the film, I'd met in LA previously. He was a big Strike Back fan. So there was a connection there. And then Liam and Luke were already doing that project, and Russell was going on to it. And all the kind of powers combined that my name was in the mix, and I was hoping it was before we one of the soldiers and get to go and put my camouflage back on after Strike Back, and it wasn't for one of the army roles. It was for the colonel who didn't even have a name, and it was 2 weeks at the end of the shoot. I was like, no, I thought I was auditioning for one of the heroes, no, it's the colonel, but it's the colonel with Russell, and you're in studio with Russell for 2 weeks. Okay. So I was able to speak to Fridge, the writer, and I was like, listen, I'll do it, and I'll come up, and I know you got no money, and and I'll do it for the equivalent of this cup of tea.
Yeah. Give me a hotel room at some per diems. No, I'll stay at a friend's house.
Yeah. Hey, okay. Lukey, you got a spare room up there at the? Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay. Cool. Listen, I'll do it, but you've got to give him a name. I was like, cool, because I'm not having the colonel on my IMDb. But sure enough, so great, they give it a rewrite and they made it a bit bigger and got to spend a couple of days working with Russell, but one-on-one, and with Chico, as well. But they would rewrite the scenes every morning.
Yeah.
They would deliver them to my trailer. I'd have a read. Russell would come in and talk to me about it. Fridge would come in and tell me about the changes, and we'd go on and we'd shoot it one by one. So we'd go to Russell's trailer. We'd run it 20 times. We'd step on set. We'd block it all through. We'd come back out. We'd finesse it. And we'd shoot. And it was kind of like a masterclass. It was at the end of the year. Everyone was scrambling to get this film shot. Everyone was exhausted. It was December, whatever it was. But it was like this constant masterclass of just staying agile, staying present, and we made it work. And off the back of that, Fridge turned around and went, "Hey, I've got this MMA script for you and Russell. You guys should do that next."
Because he was watching the way the two of you worked together.
Watched us work in studio.
Yeah.
Was on set every day and went, okay.
You said something there which I drill into people, and that and it's an old Anthony Hopkins line. What's the first thing you do? So I read the script 250 times out loud, because then I know that I know that I know it. Tell me about running it not 5 times, not 10, 20. Tell me about that kind of, what do reps like that do for you?
Well, I think it's muscle memory. For me, it's muscle memory in my mouth. Yeah. You hear different things. Oftentimes we're just reading it. So, because I'm listening to what I'm hearing, I'm interpreting what I'm hearing. Russell's got one of the biggest imaginations I've ever experienced, and he'll come on with ideas, and he'll come up with ideas for a character.
It's like Ridley Scott and Ron Howard. Like, it's all echoing back through him. All those people he worked with.
Totally. So I think, and particularly I was in a Nashville accent as well. So I was in Tennessee. So it was trying to having these new words that ordinarily you would have for a month or two. But thankfully, coming from Neighbours and television, you go, I'm kind of used to getting them on the spot.
Yeah.
But then you've kind of got to combine the work, which is, I've got to get this muscle memory. I can't be stuck in an accent. I can't be stuck with vocal linguistics or the physicality of getting these new sounds and phrases. And then I have to kind of hear what they sound like and what do they mean and what am I saying and what's the intention and what's he saying back and what's the subtext of this and what's the subtext of that. And that's kind of what you get when you just everyone go away for an hour while they're lighting, while Danny's lighting, and speak and listen.
Yeah.
So then when you get a camera on, you're like, great, I know what we're saying, I know what I want to say. But what if I say this or what if he says that?
Yeah.
And it's just, it's tennis, and.
First time we spoke, and I went back because I was like, I don't want to cover the same stuff because we did a lot on triathlon.
I nearly went back and listened to it.
We did a lot on triathlon, which was good. But there's something that you mentioned in that, and it kept coming up in that conversation. But you did mention just then, just work ethic, and that you work hard on this project, no matter what it is, work hard. You might not get the result that you want out of this, but that hard work is never, ever wasted.
Yeah.
And that seems to have been like you clearly doing the same thing.
One of my sort of lifelong mantras really was hard work never goes unrewarded. And the outcome of that may not be what you're intending to be with that hard work. I'm gonna train for 6 months for this race, and at the end of that 6 months, that's the outcome of. What if it's not? What if you get 2 flat tires and you walk the marathon, but actually you learn what it's like to not quit because you got 2 flat tires, and maybe you take that into the next race and you work equally hard as that, and then you have a breakthrough or whatever. And so, I would say that I revel in the opportunity to work really hard, and I think that's why Beast fit so well for me, because I had to work extraordinarily hard in every single aspect, in every single part of my skill set. Acting, physicality, preparation, working with Tyler, the director, script, filmmaking, fresh cast, Amy and George doing, first or second films in their careers. Lots of great actors like Mojan coming in with great ideas to elevate, and doing it all on an indie film budget and indie film schedule. I love that. And I knew that if I did that, from a big sort of point of view, if I did that, it would move the needle for me, opportunity and career-wise. But also, it's a really satisfying experience to go, great, I get to flex every muscle in my skill set, to work myself to the bone and put everything out there, heart and soul and spirit, on screen. And that's why I do it, And those opportunities don't come all the time.
If there's one thing that, we get born with the brains we've got, and, parts of our nature we can leverage to get us results that other people, everyone's got different, but that thing in you, I think, oh man, this is the stuff. This is where I really get to feast the part that's really hard.
Yeah.
I want to run at it.
Yeah, no, exactly. That's true. That's exactly what it is. And I think it's less, as I get older too, what's even more dangerous is it's less relative to other people. It used to be, I want to go and run a marathon and beat 39,000 of those 40,000 people. Now it's like, I want to go and play an MMA fighter, and apart from people saying, oh, he's a really good actor, I don't care. Like, just, I'm doing this for me, and that's a really freeing phase in a creative career, especially, as from growing up in a network TV world where you got to smile and tread the line, but to be able to go and just go as hard and as passionate, as committed, as deep and powerful as you can, and use all of your ability and not hold anything back.
Yeah,
that's where the most satisfying discoveries.
Yeah,
and the dangerous bit is you go, great, oh, now I've learned that. What's next?
Well, I think if there's one thing that when I could still do it, that endurance sports gave me, and I'm sure they gave you, you have that discovery of like, oh, where I thought that was it, there's actually so much more. I just have to be willing to be with it being awful.
Yeah.
Awful enough that my body's going to scream at me to stop.
Yeah.
But in building my tolerance for it being awful, I'm going to find things out that I would otherwise never have found.
I had it, the clearest moment of that, I'll never forget it, was racing the Hawaiian Ironman for the first time, or first and only time. But I got to the 40-kilometer mark in the marathon, and I was, this big kind of uphill, pay and save hill, and then down into Elite Drive, and you've finished the Hawaiian Ironman. And admittedly, I was about half an hour or 45 minutes slower than where I wanted to be. And in that moment, that was a lifetime. Looking back, from a few years later with a bit of maturity, it's like, dude, that's, you're doing all right.
Yeah.
But I had this moment of going, this is amazing. And if this is what it's like racing for 10 hours, what does it feel like racing for 20 hours? What does it feel like going for like a 100-miler? And I remember I got home and I said that to my family and my partner at the time. You're mad.
We're not going to Badwater with you.
We are not cut from the same cloth. So, okay.
We are not doing it. It's not happening. We're not doing
it. I just remember going there. It's like, if this is now, like, what's out there?
So that's the physicality, all right? And it's evident that you spent so much time on it by watching the screen.
If that punch, my first thing was like, if that punch doesn't look like that guy's been throwing that punch for 35 years, then the whole movie's for nothing.
Even for people who've never seen a punch, they won't know why. They're just like, I didn't believe it. You've got to, so totally. Oh my God, you did the work. Jesus Christ.
Thank you.
That's the physical stuff, which in your career, you've been able to handle a lot of. Trying to get this film made.
Yeah.
Like, talk to me about the business side of this and trying to use those things from endurance sport to go, okay, I just got to keep this whole thing moving, because you're an EP on this.
Well, I think it's exactly as you're saying, and I must give credit to Tyler Atkins, our director, because we were an arranged marriage of sorts, where I was attached to the project and then he was attached, and we kind of sat down like this. We'd known each other for years, from Channel 7 and going out in the Cross when we were in our teens and stuff, and living in Los Angeles. And all of a sudden, it's like, this is the guy that I'm going to commit the most committed performance of my career to. And he's like, I'm going to go and do this film with this guy, this Dan MacPherson guy. Like, no, what, isn't there, he's the lead in this massive movie. And we were an arranged marriage.
Let's not forget Russell did Neighbours too, all right? So fuck you all.
2 Neighbours guys. And Luke Hemsworth, who was my steroid dealer in Erinsborough High back in the day. That's how we met. So we had to, I found this great quote from Tom Hanks, and he was talking about him and Robert Zemeckis on Forrest Gump, of going, the studio pulled the budget of the running across America scene in Forrest Gump. And so Zemeckis says, listen, man, we're going to get 50-50. We're going to take it out of our fees and we'll convert it to back end. And we got to go and shoot it, because if we're going to do this film, we have to be soulmates. And they did that, and they made more money than they could ever have imagined by doing that. But Tyler and I was like, dude, if we're going to do this, we got to be soulmates. And there's a movie inside your head, and I can't see it yet. And you can't see who Patton James is going to be when he turns up in 6, 12 months, what ended up being 2 years' time down the road. But we had to kind of commit to each other side by side in an arranged marriage and go, right, for better or worse, I'll see you to the very end. So there were times where you had to muscle your way through it. You had to trust your way through it. You had to have faith that it was going to happen. When dates were dropping out, schedules were clashing, money was dropping out, locations were dropping out, people were dropping out. We just had to stand side by side and go, there was a point where it's got a heartbeat, Tyler. Trust me, it's got a heartbeat. And once that heart was beating, it was going to keep moving forward. And it was just, we had investors that came in at the last minute who stepped on set to watch us film on the second day. And, use the word angel investor, but these guys were angelic in the way they kept this movie going. And there were a handful of those throughout our journey. But it came, I think, from hard work. It came from commitment. It came from just never deviating from the energy. And I think as I've got older, the understanding of our own energy, of the universal energy, of harnessing and directing that energy, steering away from negative energy and bad energy and people and places that suck that energy out of you. I'm far more aware and attuned to to where I'm putting my energy and also the power it has to drive momentum. And so not only was I number 2 on the call sheet behind Russell, but it was on set every scene, every day. So that energy that I was able to bring, that I was able to support Tyler with and vice versa, but that was leading a cast, it was leading a crew, it was asking people to turn up for long hours, for little money, for tough conditions and go, I promise you what I'm going to do today is going to be worth your while to be here and do your job and point a camera at. And I can't talk about tomorrow because who knows, because that location's just dropped out and da-da-da-da-da. But today we're going to make, and we do that for 4 months every day. But the producing side of it, I talk about producing from the inside out as opposed to the outside in, but a lot of producers get to stand back and behind the monitor or in the office and look at everybody else doing their jobs closer and closer and closer to the nucleus of that set, which is camera and actor. I thoroughly enjoyed producing, although I'm not a credited producer on this, I'm exec producer on this, but everyone, in indie film was pitching in, but producing from the inside out. And that was from the very core of the thing outwards, and being able to relay that back to John and Mike that they were producing and everyone that was involved.
What would you say to people about what keeps an idea like this going? If someone's got an idea that they just have to make, if you didn't have to do this, you would have let it go. All right, you got a young son, you got like places to be, there's something in it that you just tied yourself to. What would you say to people about just keeping that pathway and holding that course when it gets difficult?
If it's in you with that much conviction, then it's right. I think that it's easy to get blinkered into, I know this is the only way, and I've got this idea, and it's only my idea, and I'm the only one that believes in this. And ego isolates, spirit collaborates. And we are, whether we like it or not, it's the industry of collaboration. I can't make a movie without a cameraman. And no one can see me without lighting. And, I'm not bleeding for real, so there's makeup. So the idea of collaboration, and collaboration in its best form, is energies aligned and multiplying to be the greatest than the sum of their parts. And when I talk about Beast having a heartbeat, it was the production office had been going for 4 weeks. The pre-production schedule was there. We were days out from filming. Everyone was there, aligned, committed to roll a camera on Tuesday. And a speed hump that would have derailed the project a month earlier, we were able to keep that momentum going, even though there was a world where potentially the money wasn't going to be there, but it ended up being there. So it would be, don't be isolated in your energy, and that the momentum that can come with true collaboration is something that's very special and very sacred in our industry.
Well, it's anything, I don't care what industry you're in. Like, it's very visual in film, TV, radio, whatever. In entertainment, it's very visual. But any industry is collaborative. You could work at a super fund, all right? If you're not all working towards the same goal, the thing's not going to perform as well as possible. And when you are working and you're all humming along, you could be in you've been to a great workplace that's got nothing to do with entertainment. You're like, holy shit, you guys fucking love being here every day, don't you? You love it. It's not just ping pong table.
No, totally.
It's amazing.
But is there anyone that is better isolated? I don't know, apart from Alex Honnold, but even then we need cameras on it or something. But I think the collaboration idea is universal, and I think it's really easy to get blinkered when you're trying to drive an idea and you're up against 99 no's and 99 problems, and but you just need that one, and once that clicks.
Charlie Clausen talks about that. He goes, as an actor, acting's not the best thing I do. I'm really good at getting told no. Because I got told yes for Blue Heelers, I got told yes for Home and Away, I got told yes for a few other things. There's probably 400 no's for each one of them.
Yeah, 100%. Oh, my strike rate is hideous. You want to roll up in the fetal position and rock back and forth about the state of your life and your career. Look at the jobs you've actually booked compared to the auditions you've got.
Gig that you didn't get, I'm sure this is mine, and someone that fuck that gig. If you're prepared to say, who's something? No, you don't say the gig. Who's someone that got a gig that you didn't, and you're like, fuck, I was there. I'll tell you mine.
Yeah,
I'll tell you when
I just had one really recently, actually.
No, right. I'll tell you, this is when I knew I had to leave Los Angeles, right? Because hosting live television is something you've done. It's a very particular set of skills. Yeah. Not everyone can do it. I lost a job on a competition reality show to a wrestler by the name of John Cena. I thought that guy was going to be a terrible presenter. You can't even see him.
I went in for a role on, I was like the Hunger Games. It was like one of those, but it was for a TV presenter on the Hunger Games, like reading the thing, doing the thing. I was like, well, I know how to do that. So I went in and did it, and I came out, and all the guys in the waiting room back when it was in-room auditions were like, dude, that was great. Like, you know what you do. That was awesome, bro. I was like, cool. Didn't get it. I was like, fuck, I can't even get a job as a TV presenter in America, let alone as anybody else, you know?
Neither could I. I got one job over there, but that was kind of it. The other thing that you, I can't remember if you said to me in the podcast or you said it to me, how do you eat an elephant? A bite at a time.
One bite at a time.
And I have kept that with me.
Yeah.
And I talk to Wolfie about it all the time. The idea that any task, no matter what it is, it might seem insurmountable. Literally, it's just this much. Can you do this much? I can do this much. Even when it comes to trying to get a film like this made, when it comes to trying to, like, have to, let's be honest, you know, our testosterone's not what it was when we were younger, man. To be a convincing dude on camera, you're going to have to put some muscle on. You're going to have to, the eating that you would have had to, like the chicken that died, so you could do this.
I literally saw the guy in Cronulla who owns the butchery that I'd been buying from for 4 years when this film was on again off. He goes, dude, I finally saw the trailer of that film that you were constantly in here buying meat for. Yeah. It's like, yeah, that was the one that I was in here in 2023, 2022, going, I gotta get in shape. So, but it's exactly as you say, like, it's the culmination of thousands of decisions.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of decisions, especially when you add in the post-production schedule and whatnot that most, sort of actors step back from. And I think it's why taken a good deep breath after this one and was supposed to be back on set on some other stuff, and that's kind of got pushed, and simultaneously taken control of my own kind of destiny in my career. I've gone actually unrepresented in Australia at the moment, which we've had some conversations like that over the last couple of years, but also I've read 50-something film scripts in the last 6 or 8 months, looking for projects for me, projects to take to financiers. I have specific financiers looking for specific things around the world, films to shoot in separate places. I'm really enjoying that side of it and taking control of what I want to do, looking for exactly what I want to do, take it to the people that I want to do it with, and sort of, producing and developing and financing films of my own. And that's satisfying.
They're insurmountably huge projects.
Yeah.
But the only difference between people who make films and those is the people who do make. The only difference between people who make films and those who don't is the people who make films know all I have to do is what it takes to get this made today, and just keep going in that direction.
Totally.
And just have the willingness and hopefully the cash runway to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it.
But it's, I guess it makes sense to go, someone who's stuck out a career that was gifted to them as a novelty at 16 years old, going, hey man, do you want to come and try some acting and some modeling and do, go and do Neighbours? I was like, oh, sure. But 30 years later, someone that used to do Ironman triathlon for fun, of course he wants to now talk about himself in the third person, but also wants to go and great, I'm going to devote the next couple of years of my life to independent film and eventually jump in the director's seat and probably end up a filmmaker. All right, but how exciting to feel like you're at the beginning of a phase in your career at 46. Like I feel it feels amazing. It feels great.
I'm so glad you came around. We're going to go jump into sauna after this, which should be good.
Yeah.
But I thought it would be kind of useful just to put a button on this to talk about that you were there. You were there at the beginning of the end of my drinking and using. We went for a hike up Runyon Canyon, loaded walking.
Yeah, I remember.
And
Before I knew that was a thing.
Yeah, I
slipped.
Dude,
what's in your backpack?
Slipped and I blew my MCL. And it was the most painful fucking injury at the time that I'd ever had. The next day, I went to go see the doctor, and he said, "Oh, just take some ibuprofen. You'll be fine." I said, "I did. I had 600 milligrams last night." And he goes, and he just threw a, script for a Vicodin at me. That was November, I think, December 2009. By March, I'm in a meeting because those things just off I went. I was off to the races. So that was,
and we didn't know each other very well then. I remember Morrissey had put us together and going, "Great, you guys get together in LA, go for a hike," and next minute, we're kind of clambering down Runyon, and you're in agony.
Yeah, it wasn't fun.
And I remember not long after that, I was doing an audition, like a self-tape audition, and I had to like kick someone who was on the ground, and so I put a pillow on the floor, and I kicked through the pillow, and I hit the chair, and I thought I'd broken my foot.
Oh no!
So I, found a doctor, over in Silver Lake, so drove to Silver Lake, and he said, "No, I don't think it's broken, but we'll do an X-ray," and da-da-da. He goes, "But I don't like my patients to be in pain, so I'm going to give you some painkillers. Are you okay with painkillers?" I was like, yeah, cool. And he gave me like Vicodin and I think Xanax.
Jesus Christ.
And I was like everyone's pretty cool to be throwing out these
He didn't ask me anything about my history, didn't ask me about my drinking, didn't ask, which at the time was terrible, didn't ask me anything. But yeah, I was lucky to make it out of that because benzos were a part of that last part as well. And that's where people get into trouble because they forget they've taken them. Yeah. And they go, "I normally take one around this time of night," and they take them again.
Yeah.
And then they've just got a little too much.
Yeah.
You just go to sleep. But to have then gone through a lot, our kids are our youngest kids.
Yeah.
Very, 3 months apart.
Totally, yeah.
I'm very grateful to have, it's uncommon. We started this talking about men in our community. It's uncommon for men to have friends or make new friends once they to be honest, once they leave their mid-20s.
Yeah.
It's uncommon for men to make new friends. And the friends they've got from there, they kind of just wait to die, So I'm very fortunate to have you in my life, Dan.
Likewise,
I'm very
mate.
grateful
Thank
you
you.
came around
Thank
today,
you.
man.
Yeah,
And
thanks,
good
buddy.
good on you for making this movie. Jeez.
Whew. Thank you, mate.
Next time,
Thank you very much.
Next time you come around, we'll do a whole hour on the amount of rugby league talk on set because between you,
Neighbours, George Burgess,
Matt Neighbours, Shark, who worked for the Titans for however long. I can only imagine. Like, hang on, guys, wait.
Hang on a sec.
We're just waiting on the tri conversion. Just wait a sec. Okay, we're good.
Yeah, and we were down in we were in proper like Steelers country down there as well. Like we shot down there. There was plenty of that. And we could talk forever about the boys, but my son's obsessed with rugby league. Obsessed. I've had Ozzy in the change rooms in the dressing. First time I ever took Ozzy to a Sharks game.
Yeah.
And we got to go into the sheds afterwards, and we were sitting behind Fitzy while he was giving him the team talk, and we had ET on one side and Gal on the other.
Yeah.
And this 3.5-year-old was like, "You will never understand the significance of this, my boy, until you're much older." And now he's been there a couple of times, and he watches them, sing the team song, and he got to meet Nico and all the guys, and I'll never forget the look on his face, mate. He loves it.
So this is the part that because my parents being immigrants, what's with this? There's too many goalposts, and they're carrying the ball. It's the wrong. I don't understand what this is. So we never really kind of got around that, but I've come to learn later in life that 30 years from now, when your son is wearing a Sharks jersey, he's spending time with you.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
He doesn't care if they beat the Steelers or not.
No.
He cares because this means time with Dad.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah. Given a lot of thought to that.
We're going to some games, buddy.
Yeah. So why do you support that team? Oh, my dad supported that team, so I did. And it was like, that it gets truncated to that little soundbite when they're our age.
Yeah.
But what that means and the installation of that in their DNA is the special part.
It's the time spent with family. That's what gets people.
Yeah.
And you see it all the time in Victoria with the suburban towns around there. That's what it is. It's like the way Audrey still chooses to follow the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs.
Yeah.
They suck.
Yeah.
But like she won't defect.
Yeah. Right.
Like we've been living in Roosters territory for she's been living in Roosters territory longer than I have. Won't defect.
Yeah.
It's like, nah, dogs. Because when she came to Australia, that's where she grew up.
Yep.
And that was the neighborhood. That's it. It's tied in there.
I get it.
Thanks, man.
Oh, buddy, a joy.
It's great.
A joy. Thank you, man.